Welcome back here at Cardin's Fuels. Our pregame show continues. Now time for the front office report, joined by Newport Gulls General Manager Chuck Pava. Chuck, how are you?
Nick, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well as the Gulls get set to face the Pilgrims here tonight, a team that the Gulls have had their number the last couple of years.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Last year they had the best record in the league. They won the NECBL better regular season title, and we just happened to get them when it mattered in the playoffs. But they're always a good club. Listen, Chris Patzels, any baseball team Chris Patzels is involved in, they're going to be good. It's
a tight race right now in the NECBL Southern Division. Only a couple of games separate first place through fifth place as Pilgrims come in at 9-9. The Gulls have been struggling a little bit here towards the end of June and now into the beginning of July.
Yeah, you know, right? Well, yeah, we've been struggling a little bit, Nick. You know, last night was a tough game. The night before we put up some runs. Night before that was a 1-0 game. More consistent with the pitching that I think that we have. I think that we're still kind of finding ourselves right now, Nick, and trying to find our soul, so to speak. But I think we're going to be okay. You know, I mean, there's enough talent on this team and character on this team. I think these guys will figure it out.
Is the inconsistency we've seen in the pitching because it's a young staff? I mean, the Gulls had 5 shutouts earlier on in the season.
Well, typically in summer ball with wood bats, you know, the pitchers are going to be ahead of the hitters the first 2 or 3 weeks, so that makes sense. But I think on the other side of that coin, I think your point about a young staff also makes sense. You know, we're getting guys who they haven't really pitched a lot at their schools, so this is their learning period, and this is a chance to get their innings in, and so they're developing as well.
Offensively, the Gulls are still leading the NECBL in many categories, led in part by Jovan After. He's been outstanding at the plate. He's hitting above 400. Just had a 14-game hitting streak, the longest in the league this season, snapped last night.
Hey, he's been very consistent. He does a lot of things well. He's got a plus arm in the outfield, you know, for a center fielder. He's got great speed. He steals bags, hits the ball consistently. He hits the ball with power. He's a great guy to lead off, so, you know, hopefully everything follows from that.
With Bouchard hurt, Shea Donald stepped up a few games to fill in at shortstop, his first ever collegiate starts at short. But now the Gulls have Liam Sabino in town and still waiting on one more player, too.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it's good to get your full infield, the one that you planned from the beginning. As you put together this team, you know, you got your ideas and you got the pieces, and now we've got them here, so that helps. We got one more pitcher that's going to help this rotation or this pitching staff. He's a plus arm, so we'll see what, you know, that'll be an addition at the right time.
James Karinchak struggled a little bit in his last start, but has emerged as one of the Gulls' aces here this summer. His first 3 starts, he was sensational, picking up 3 wins.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good arm. You know, he's a very good pitcher. It's why he did so well at school as a freshman. And here he's done extremely well. And just like I said earlier, you know, everybody was ahead of everybody in the beginning, but, you know, he's not pitching every 4th day anymore, any 5th days. Sometimes you got a 7-day in between starts, so that changes things. So he's just trying to get his work in, 5-6 innings, and get him ready for that stretch when it matters.
Of course, it matters starting pretty soon here. You always say that June is spring training. July is the season in this league. Karinchak again getting the start here tonight, but the games going down the stretch here are really going to start to determine the final playoff seeding.
Yeah, you know. How tough July can be. Last year it was really difficult for us, Nick. I don't think I've ever seen a team like that, but hopefully that's not the case this year. I'm not expecting it, and I think we're going to do what every other team has done here, you know, just kind of start to get our wings underneath us. You know, some of the fatigue will get out of these guys, and, you know, we'll start getting it going, I believe.
Finally, Chuck, just this past weekend, the Newport Gulls celebrated 15 years here in the city by the sea with an outstanding family reunion event. We saw Gulls come in from nearly every team in team history going back to 2001.
Yeah, that was really special, Nick. You know, I mean, when you can bring back that amount of players to come back to the nest after so many years, some of them 14, 15 years, Nick, it really says something about what we've done here and how we have affected these young men. And, you know, now they're young adults, and coming back here to support us and say thank you is really special, very special. We had a great group here. It also shows this young group that's here now why they're here. You know, this is part of something special that you don't find in summer college baseball.
Newport Gulls General Manager Chuck Pava, thank you for joining us as always for the Front Office Report on Front Office Report Fridays. Rob Master will be back here next week.
All right, great. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Chuck. Our pregame show continues here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.